Alright, so to give a little bit of context behind the video that we're about to watch and go over here. Basically, this guy is going around as like a reporter interviewing people on why they're there protesting. And he comes across this one guy who claims to be a communist, and it's just, I mean, this is the perfect example of protesters at these protests who just have absolutely no clue what they're talking about. So we're going to go over it here. And we're actually going to watch what happens, and then I'm going to talk about some stuff.
Here? What is this?
Says it there.
So, okay, so I'm already pausing it. Right away, when the first thing you have to say is, it says it right there, you probably have no idea what you're actually talking about, right? And most protesters don't. If that's your first case is, read this, and I guess you'll get an idea, then maybe you should do a little research first. All right, let's keep going.
Leading light communists? Are you guys like you're trying to get communism going in America or what?
You can go to the website and find out lco.org.
I'm just trying to have a discussion, man. I want to learn right now. You're not a very good salesman, man. You got to help sell me on the idea here. What's the idea behind communism that you're trying to do?
A world without oppression.
Okay, this is the most ironic thing you could ever say when talking about communism. A world without oppression. It's mind-blowing that someone would even bring that up in a debate trying to defend communism. Communism, historically, is the textbook definition of oppression. I'll go more into the statistics later in a bit when he starts saying some stuff that's even stupider, but to try to bring up the fact that communism brings about a world without oppression is historically false and insane.
Alright, I mean, does communism get rid of oppression? That seems like when it's been tried before, it kind of got more oppression.
The failures of socialism and communism are better than the success of capitalism.
Okay, pause. This is probably the stupidest thing in the whole video, right? This is the climax of the whole thing. And I know you say, oh, well, you can just sit here and say, you know, what he's saying is stupid. But no. I'm actually going to prove to you why this is just an insane quote. Okay? Communism's failures are better than successes of capitalism. That is not true at all. Communism killed 70 million people in China under Mao Zedong, over 20 million in the Soviet Union, 5 million Ukrainians also, almost 1/3 of all Cambodians killed under communism, and communists have enslaved entire countries, right, ruining the lives of billions of people. It's just insane to me that so many people's lives ruined by communism, and you're gonna say that the successes of capitalism are worse than the failures of communism. I'm feeling a little sick, by the way, so if I sound sick, that is why. But clearly that is just so asinine. It's just not true. Now, to go over some successes of capitalism, let's talk about wage mobility in the U.S. According to the IRS statistics, right, so this isn't, rightwingbloggers.com. This is the IRS. If you're born into the bottom 20% of wage earners in the U.S., 90% of those people will not be one of the bottom 20% of wage earners within 15 years. So it just shows there's tremendous wage mobility in the U.S., and that is capitalism, right? Ben Shapiro has a funny quote. It's, socialism is rape. Capitalism is consensual sex. And that's absolutely true, because voluntary exchange is more moral than forced redistribution, right? Forcing someone to give you their money is not moral or a good thought, right? And that's the premise behind communism and socialism is I can take from you just because I want. It creates very selfish people. It really does. But going back to the actual video here, we will continue.
I mean, the death counts are pretty telling for all the times communism has been tried. I mean, how many millions did Mao kill?
Again, since when, what about, are you comparing the death counts? Because
Yeah.
Stalin, versus Hitler, or even if you did include
It's a pretty good fight.
even if you did include communist leadership,
I mean, can you give me an example of when communism has worked?
can you again?
Okay, you can tell this guy just has no clue. Like, at this point, he just doesn't know what to say, right? He was comparing Stalin to Hitler, okay? Yes, Hitler was an awful person, but when you're talking straight death count, Hitler killed about 6 million Jews, right? Whereas Stalin killed about 20 million or so people. So I think he kind of struck out on that one a little bit. If you're going to compare them, and I don't know why Hitler is a symbol of capitalism. That really doesn't make sense. Let's hear him try to explain it, but you could just hear in his answer. He's like, I mean, these guys just have no idea what they're talking about.
Like, I'm still behind on the other question, which is the whole thing about you saying that there's all this blood from communism. What about
There
Hitler?
is.
He's capitalist. He's fascist. That's not communism. So
He was a fascist. He was a fascist, but he was a socialist.
he was imperialist socialist. So no, he wasn't a socialist. We have different definitions of what you're talking about. He wasn't trying to make an equal world with everybody. He was trying to.
Okay, I'm going to pause it here because this is what advocators for communism and more commonly socialism say every time. Every time you mention that everywhere communism and socialism is tried, it fails. Because it does, right? Every time you say that, people just say, well, that's not real communism. Or in this case, that's not real socialism, right? If only it were tried the right way, it would work. Right? The guy's doing it here. The reporter mentions that the Nazis were a socialist party. And the guy is saying, well, no, that's not real socialism. That's not real, it's just a failed practice of it. Right? So that's all they ever say is, well, if it was only tried the right way. Okay, and it's like, it's been tried countless times and failed every time. So he again is saying, well, no, we're not talking about the same kind of socialism. Right? We're talking about a fantasy land socialism, which is what this guy is talking about.
To kill a bunch of people who, by their race, he was trying to kill people. He was trying to steal a bunch of wealth and then share it within his own country. That's social imperialism. That's not socialism. So know your definitions before you talk to me. Why don't you go and look up the definitions of our website?
Do you know what Nazi stands for?
No, why don't you actually
No,
go to
it
my
says.
website and look up the definitions of things?
Nazi stands for National Socialist Party.
Yeah, I understand the term, and I just explained to you what socialism actually means.
So, see, there again, right? He brings up an example of socialism. He's like, no, I just explained to you what socialism actually is. Right? Right? That's not real socialism. This is real socialism. It's the same argument every single time with these people.
So go and understand that.
What about
Good
Research,
argument.
and please stop talking to me.
Venezuela's got socialism right now?
Stop talking to me.
How's that working out?
Can you stop talking to me? Or are you just gonna?
I just want.
Okay. Every protest video I've ever watched, and I watched a lot, right? I love watching the protesters get interviewed and get asked questions, and they really don't know what to say. And I'm sure, it's construed by the people making it, right? They want to upload the more entertaining ones where people just don't know what they're talking about. But I'm sure there's a lot out there where, literally everyone they asked just doesn't know, right? So every protest video I've watched, the protesters always resort to, get out of my face, or stop talking to me, or they just start screaming and being really obnoxious, right? It's like they are a bunch of 5-year-olds, right? If you have to resort your argument to get out of my face, then you just don't know what you're talking about, and you should do some research, right? Because you're probably ill-informed if that's what you have to resort to every time.
One example of where socialism or communism has worked.
And socialism, communism, failures are better than success of capitalism. I've nothing else to say.
So he can't name one success, not one, of socialism or communism. His only rebuttal is that, well, it's just better than capitalism. Which, I mean, I forgot the last time capitalism killed 70 million people, 20 million people, 5 million, all those deaths. I forgot when capitalism, caused that much damage. And it's ironic, if you actually look at North and South Korea, and this is the end of the video, so I'll actually pull it up. North and South Korea at night. It's so funny because you can literally see exactly what communism and capitalism does, right? This is at night. Here's a better one. Look at this. South Korea at night, North Korea at night, right here. Capitalism, right? We came in, Korean War, established the border. Capitalism right here. Communism right here. I mean, it's literally night and day different. It's so, I mean, how could anyone defend this? Does this look happy at night? No, that looks sad and depressing. Because it is. And that is the realist idea here, right? Capitalism just it works. You can see right here. This looks like a country that is successful. This looks like a country that is in shambles, which it is right now. So that's going to be it for the video today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to drop a like. If you disagree with me and think I'm wrong, please comment. I mean, all people do when they disagree is dislike the video. And I'm fine. If you just dislike the video, then dislike the video. That's fine. But try to, provide a comment. Otherwise, you're no different than this guy who just sits there and can't form an argument. So that's it for today.